guys, Basil here. Today we are visiting Gilneas. Gilneas is a human nation and kingdom located in the peninsula that lies to the southwest of Silver Pine Forest on the continent of Lordaeron. The kingdom was founded following the splitting of Azeroth and is ruled by the House Greymane. Besides the peninsula, the kingdom also included the island of Zuldair. Gilneas is a large peninsula that juts into the sea south of western Lordaeron. Silver Pine Forest lies to the northeast, and Gilneas awaits across the sea to the south. Lord Greymane never supported the Lordaeron alliance in the Second War. Thus, after the war, he constructed the Greymane Wall, a massive barrier spanning the entire northern border. The enormous wall barricades Gilneas from Lordaeron. Gilneas does not allow anyone in or out, and because of this, no one knows what has been transpiring there since the end of the Second War. It was later found that the Worgen curse swept mercilessly across the nation, turning many of its inhabitants into savage beasts. However, they were able to get their humanity back and rebuild the land. Following the cataclysm and an invasion by the Forsaken, Gilneas rejoined the alliance. The human kingdom had supported the alliance during the Second War, but King Greymane had no qualms about severing all ties to the outside world when it became clear that the alliance needed Gilneas more than Gilneas needed the alliance. Unbeknownst to the rest of the world, darkness fell on Gilneas after the Greymane Wall gates had been closed, and the Worgen curse ravaged the nation. Before long, Gilneans were fighting against Gilneans in last vestiges of their humanity. For now. A person from Gilneas is referred to as Gilnean, like their leader. Gilnean people are often burly and gruff, extremely isolationist. They supported the Greymane Wall's construction. They speak common, and they have their faith in the holy light. Their resources are unknown. Moreover, their costumes, weapons, architecture, and accents have Regency connotations. Along with the cold and rainy weather of the peninsula, it gives the feeling of being in the London of the early 19th century. It is unclear how the Gilneans came to possess their druidic powers. Some believe that the night elves taught them, yet this must have been before the Greymane Wall was sealed, as the Gilnean druids were instrumental in saving their population during a famine after the wall was closed and before the night elves arrived during the cataclysm. There is sufficient proof and reason to believe that the practices of primitive Druidism or the old ways were once alive and well within or around Gilnean society before the sealing of the wall. It is likely that the people of Gilneas would have once practiced or acknowledged the traditions and reverences of nature worship. In time, though, the followers of the Holy Light must have spread their teachings to Gilneas and succeeded in converting many of its people, causing Druidism to slowly fade into the past and become mostly forgotten. In the early days of humanity and its civilization, many tribes of humans had primitive belief systems that incorporated simple nature magic. However, the rise of organized religion, such as the Holy Light, and the potent arcane magics introduced by the High Elves, quickly supplanted such traditions. Gilneas, due to its relative isolation, has retained a degree of their ancient culture in the contemporary era. The religious leaders of what was in Gilneas referred to as the old ways eventually became harvest witches, those who used their nature powers to augment Gilneas's agricultural output. During and following its period of industrialization. Due to the presence of the harvest witches in their culture, when Gilneas learned about the night elf druids, they became fascinated by them and their exotic connotations, to the point where many started referring to harvest witches as druids, though this was quite far from the truth, as few Gilneans had any idea what a druid actually was. Harvest witches have a limited control over nature, especially plant life, and the powers of harvest witches bear a coincidental resemblance to the low-level abilities of actual druids. Harvest witches who contracted the Worgen curse found that their powers were somewhat amplified, and after making first contact with the night elves, cursed harvest witches were offered induction into the Cenarian Circle for both study and training. Following their victory in the war against the Trolls, the Empire of Arathor entered into a period of prosperity and growth. After the death of King Thoradin, the empire began to expand, founding new city-states in the wilderness, including Gilneas. Each city grew and prospered. Both Gilneas and Alterac developed strong armies that explored the world. Over time, the power of Gilneas and other city-states grew as that of Stromwand. Eventually, they developed their own customs and beliefs, and the empire splintered into 7 independent kingdoms. By the start of the Second War, Gilneas was one of the most powerful human nations, and because of this, the kingdom's ruler, Greymane, was not a strong supporter of the alliance, believing that his own armies would be more than enough to deal with any threat. Despite this, Gilneas was not neutral towards the Horde and did join the alliance late in the Second War. Greymane never fully supported the Lordaeron alliance, and shortly after the Horde was defeated, Greymane pulled his nation's support from the alliance, refusing to spend his nation's resources on keeping the orcs alive in internment camps or in rebuilding other nations devastated by the war. Greymane's isolationism may have been influenced by Daval Prestor, who was secretly the Black Dragon Deathwing in human form. Greymane had supported his ascension to the throne of Alterac. Sometime after the Second War, Greymane constructed the Greymane Wall, an enormous stone barrier that now separates Gilneas from Lordaeron, attempting to forever remove his nation from what he considered other people's troubles. He barricaded Gilneas behind the wall. No one, not even other humans, was allowed to enter Gilneas. Even during the Scourge's invasion of Lordaeron, while human refugees came begging to be allowed in, the Greymane Wall remained closed. In order to keep the Scourge out, Greymane ordered his court archmage, Arogal, to unleash a secret weapon against the Scourge, the Worgen, who had been contained for millennia. Unfortunately, after attacking the Scourge, the Worgen began attacking humans living in Silverpine Forest and infecting Gilnean soldiers beyond the wall. Before long, the affliction had advanced through the legendary barrier and gradually ate away at Gilneas' humanity. Meanwhile, refugees and other nations entreated Gilneas for aid from the Scourge. These unfortunates never saw a Gilnean and became easy prey for the Worgen that occasionally strayed south from Shadowfang Keep. Gilneas was not affected by the Scourge. Although the land connection to the Gilneas was closed, ships from this self-isolated nation were spotted throughout the world, such as the pirate ship Heedless, captained by Baron Longshore, Lord Darius Crowley, upset about Greymane's isolationism, launched the Northgate Rebellion, and later on the Gilneas Civil War. Lord Crowley was eventually captured by the Greymane's forces. However, as wild Worgen spread and attacked Gilneas city, causing massive harm, Crowley was released by Gilnean adventurers and convinced to give aid to Greymane, who had ordered the evacuation of Gilneas to lands controlled by the Night Elves. In order to divert the Worgen's attention from the fleeing citizens, Crowley led a group of sane Gilneans to stand against them at Lightstone Cathedral. Crowley and his followers were overwhelmed and became Worgen themselves. The cataclysm breached the Greymane Wall, and the Horde, now under the command of Warchief Garrosh Hellscream, ordered the Forsaken to attack Gilneas. In desperation, King Ken Greymane asked Crowley for help. He would fight under the command of Lord Vincent Godfrey. Crowley refused until Greymane revealed that he, too, had been transformed into Worgen. Lord Crowley led the Gilneas Liberation Front against the Forsaken in Silverpine Forest. With the help from the 7th Legion, who used a submarine to pass enemy lines, the Alliance gained the upper hand in Gilneas. However, agents of the Horde ended up destroying some of the reinforcements and enabled the Forsaken to resurrect Lord Godfrey as one of their own, a fact that none of the Gilneans were aware of. Crowley later surrendered to Sylvanas Windrunner after she had taken his daughter hostage. Meanwhile, Lord Godfrey rebelled against Sylvanas and attempted to kill her. Sylvanas returned to Undercity to recover, enabling the Alliance to retake Gilneas. The Worgen curse that started from Shadowfang Keep and swept across Gilneas left its people irrevocably transformed. Almost the entire human population has been turned to the beastly Worgen, a humbling failure for Greymane in his efforts to keep his people safe. The reaction of the people to this change will likely be greatly varied and has yet to be revealed. Gilneas has undergone deep changes in the wake of its cursing, and while the people maintain their free will, the true impact of the curse on Gilneans remains to be seen.